This is episode 324 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm one of your hosts, William Hegwood. Hotter than Avernus out there. Whew. Today, I'm joined by Marcel, Tri-Wing S, 91X Pegasus Starfighter, Manzano.
For those of you who get the reference, good. For those of you who don't, study up.
Am I worried that you're becoming a Cylon?
No comment.
No comment.
If you got it, you get it.
Ryan, multitasking master Staniszewski.
Yeah. What people may not know right now is I am also working and casting at the same time. Sucks when some very crucial element of your pipeline of work goes down for the day, and then people want you to make sure it's working when they think it is working at the end of the day, at the same time as now.
I mean, don't you always work from home though?
Yeah, but I think this is actually the first time I've ever had to do work and be on the cast at the same time.
Okay.
Normally I've navigated that quite well.
No problem. And as well, James, am I good at X-Wing? Ritter.
Yeah, I got surprisingly drafted in round 2 of the NCX team draft event, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. But yeah, I did not expect myself to go in the draft at all, much less round 2. So maybe I'm underestimating my X-Wing abilities.
Maybe. Well, you certainly are involved here every week. And, you know, the only reason we're able to do these kind of streams is because of the GSP Patreons. Becoming Patreon makes you part of the largest group of supporters GSP has. They help us get to live in-person events. We have a store championship actually this weekend at the OG GSP home in Pastimes. But as well, we're going to Nova. We're going to the California World Qualifier, a bunch of other events. Check out the Patreon for that and to find out how you can get some of GSP's own art for your own use as well. So, we want to do a bunch of listener questions. A lot of buzz going on right now. A lot of new players coming in potentially, and a lot of unanswered questions from our listeners that we want to get to. Before we do that, though, we got to talk about the current team events going on right now. Marcel, your team successfully swept my team in the Combine. We fought hard. I think every one of us still scored 17 points. So, like, no blowouts.
Is it hard or hardly fought if you got 3-0? Come on.
I mean, it worked out for you, to say the least. Not that we weren't trying. But we are going into the final round of the USA Combine. Very exciting stuff. That is for the team... I was going to say X-Wing Team XTC, which is, anyways, the XTC Championships happening this fall. Big excitement, international event. So the Combine has been going great. A lot of buzz about it, a lot of information. That kind of pairings data is so interesting. How do you attack? Who do you defend with? What lists are being successful? And overall, I think everyone's having a great time in it, learning a lot about team events. In addition to that, though, we see that Nickel City X-Wing has started up their draft league. Me and James got drafted in it. I'm on the Ascendancy. You're on, you said Moncala?
Yeah, Moncalia Seafood Consortium.
Yes.
The best team name at the very least.
All right, well, I mean, it's okay. You can read for your own team there. Yeah, we're facing off against Havoc in the first week. There was, what did we just say? So many teams. I can't even count all the teams.
I think there are. Actually,
10?
I can just go to overall.
Is it 10? 12?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 12. Yep.
12.
Oh, actually, 16. 16.
16?
Yeah.
No wonder I
4,
can't keep
yeah.
all the names straight. Seems like every week I'm learning about a new team. So, very exciting. Big community event there. Brian, you were naysaying the extended, but just to give some variety, I think, and some interesting lists to be seen. The most interesting about it to me is that there's no lists that are set. You set your faction. So I got drafted for Empire. You're doing the Great Army, and then R. What's GAR stand for? Grand
Galactic Army of the Republic.
Galactic.
Or I think it is Grand. Yeah, Grand Army of the Republic. Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
So-
It's not. I just say Republic.
fair. So no extended ships for you or pilots, but for Empire, I get access
Now,
to.
I thought we get banned pilots, right? So say C10 is back on the table.
Say C10. I think that's the only
Hey.
banned pilot from there.
Hey, I'll take it.
I guess so. I've been trying to look at Whispers. They do not look good. Compared to what FO does for 5 points.
You mean Phantoms?
Oh, sorry. You know what?
Yeah.
Slip of the tongue in there, you know?
Yeah, a little Freudian slip. Yeah, because usually it's Whisper is the one we think about. But yeah, it's the actual ship name is Phantom. The Cult.
Greg, coming in our chat. We do stream these live on Twitch if you want to listen to the podcast version. But Greg is saying no upgrades, only pilots. So no Sloans, no Pyres, advanced sensors, things like that. You remember advanced sensors in the game?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Wow, could you imagine?
Yeah. No.
R.I.P. Good
Marcel
riddance.
remembers.
I remember advanced sensors with Daredevil Rick and Baby Anakin, both with advanced. Oh, yeah, gotta catch those guys.
Yeah, thank goodness.
No, thank you.
We
No,
have
no
to.
auto blasters.
Yeah, no auto
maybe
blasters
not.
or trajectories. No, thank you. It's a good old wholesome still, Ryan. Don't you worry. We're just get to
Yeah.
bring all the models out. That's all.
I said this before we started the cast. I think if I would play it, even in this different format, it'd mostly just be to stroke my ego a little bit to see where I get drafted.
That's fair.
But I would not check out after that. I would actually, play.
Sure.
Help my
I mean,
team
it's
better.
been very competitive, and the involvement has been enormous, unfounded. Over 100 players, if I'm not mistaken, in each team combined, however you want to say that. So, awesome event. That is starting on the 28th, right after the Combine, and should be going for at least 10 weeks for the event. But let's dive into some listener questions. I'll go ahead and get my list pulled up. Did you have one that stands out to you guys? When do you have a?
Well, I think it's Ryan. He's like putting them all out down there.
I'm just copy pasting a lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I was just thinking you wrote that Ready Set Go Joker House. We're just gonna go down the list, but whatever you guys want to do.
I mean,
Right.
if you find one I haven't listed, go ahead. That doesn't matter. I'm just
you guys-
putting them in here because they're all the ones I put in so far are interesting to me.
All right, let's
I
go
think would be
clockwise. So
good
start
options.
with James.
All right. Let's take. Are we just going top to bottom then? You know what? Yeah. Let's just go top to bottom for me. Do you think from a mess? Do you think we'll see a points update with the new releases in this next week with the Bomber and the 2400 coming out? I am gonna say no, but it would be cool if they did.
You're asking like a change in other points in reference to
just
it?
Other points. Yeah.
just-
any other
just the new
any other
points or-
changes? Yeah, I think
that's-
we're just going to see new points.
That's a great question. Do want to clarify that there's only technically 5 or 6 pilot cards in the 2400, and I want to say that every customizable is the same in the bomber pack. Do we know if the standardized from the bomber pack are the same as the standardized from the core set? Or what I mean?
They are different.
They are different. So there'll be 3 different Tomexes and 3 different major rhymers.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? We did look at those. That's right, because of the trajectory thing. That's right. And Major Rhymer can boost into his advanced Proton or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Nickel City, well, Greg said, I don't think they'll update points this close to Nova. I think they don't. I think that's a little bit myopic. I don't think they look at this close to Nova because there's always going to be, if it's not Nova, it's going to be something in UK. It's going to be so. There's already a rule in place about if they make a change, what the window frame is for that change to go in effect for an official event. So I don't think that even Worlds, like I don't think that if they make changes, I don't think it'll be based on like an event that's occurring. I think they're just gonna do it when all the dominoes line up. But I don't think it'll be like, oh, this event is coming, so I'm going to update because this event is coming. Anyway, that's my thought. And I'm with James that I think it's just gonna be the new points. No changes to old.
Yeah, they said that they probably won't look at another major rehaul until after the next Worlds, but doesn't say that they might do hot fixes, change some necessary things.
Essentially, they said we're not doing regular updates or even irregular updates. We're only updating stuff when we see a need to do so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see them change the points of the bombers that just came out to maybe be more in line with the bomber pack, but who's to say, All right, Ryan, what's our next question?
All right, next question. What do we want to hit here? Oh, I had a little bit of not back and forth, but I had some qualifying questions that dealt with a question from Crispy that I think is really cool and interesting. He said, would you rather make cut in every tournament you play but never win the World Championship, or win the World Championship once but never make cut again?
Did you qualify it that I can win other events that aren't Worlds?
My qualifying question was, clarification please, how big of a cut would you always make, and or how deep would you make it? He said if there's a cut to top X or X and 1, you'll make it all the time. How deep you go is up to your skill, but the only one you can't win is the World Championship. So you can win any other events, but you can't win the World Championship ever.
That's an easy one.
The way I qualified with that was this is a fun little jab. You mean B. Duncan? Because Duncan Howard's won plenty of everything, plenty of other events, and placed consistently high, and cuts abound, but has never gotten that World Championship is elusive to him. Or do you want to be that one player that they've won the World Championship, and then there's nothing else they've done?
Wow, this might be a jab at the world championship winners, but that's just one event. So I would rather take the cut in every event.
Yeah, and by the way, it was not a jab at Justin Fua. He's an awesome guy who quit X-Wing, so he quit while he was on top. Yeah, I think this is an easy one. Like I'd rather be competitive and have fun the entire time versus have my 15 seconds of fame and like try to win and stay in the game and not make cuts. Like that would be very frustrating if you're trying
But you would know that. I guess another potential part is, would you, like, if you know you're making this choice, do you like, does that person, or do you know that that's going to be that way? So you know, going into every event, you're not making cut, but you know that going in, so you just play for fun. Who cares, right? But
I mean,
you can call yourself a world champion.
I'd rather call myself a national champion or a North American champion, a System Open champion, you know, like I would rather have all those on a multiple time basis versus a one time. But that's me. I don't know what you guys.
I actually agree. I think I'd also, because there's so much cool prize support too that has been made in the past, and I'd like to, like, if I make cut all the time and I have a chance in every single event to get top tier prizes and whatnot, that sounds like awesome swag too, and consistently being competitive at near the top at events all around. Yeah, I'd probably take that over a one-time world champ, but never pretty much compete like viably in any other event.
So I'm gonna flip the question around a little bit more because I mean I love Crispy, but I think that was a silly question. So I'm actually gonna.
Does James or Will disagree, or are they both in agreement? I guess before we flip it.
Oh yeah, I'm taking it. Worlds is just one tournament. Like,
Yeah, that's just one event.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna flip it a little bit. So make the question a little bit more. Not realistic, but just more relevant to people. So would you rather make cuts consistently, not always, consistently, make cuts consistently, but really be miserable when you don't make cut, or almost never or rarely make cuts, but always like enjoy your time? Because I think that happens to a lot of people. A lot of people are consistent players and they make cuts consistently, but they get so competitive that missing a cut kind of ruins their experience for a tournament, versus not making cuts, not necessarily always playing well, maybe making cuts every once in a while, but not taking it bad when you don't make cuts.
I think I would choose the have fun. I would rather lose
Yeah.
every game, and as long as if I could guarantee that I had fun in every game, I would lose every one.
Yeah, I guess your flip of it ends up being more on the almost like mental or emotional capacity difference for a person, and that's hard to really like take a stance on either way. I think just because each person wired differently will have a different answer. So I guess that's good if we want different answer or approach. We could also even tailor Crispy's back down to like, what if you every year you're guaranteed to win one major event, but you only ever make cut at that event, or you make cut at a majority of the events over the year, but you never win one of them. That might be, instead of a
Yeah, I
one
think
and
that-
done thing,
Yeah,
for
that's
like
more-
ever a one per year, but that's the only one you do good at. Or you make cuts in a majority of them of the year, but you don't ever win one of them.
Yeah, I think I'd still rather be consistent over being a top performer in that one event. I would rather be consistent over multiple events.
I got something. I got something
I was gonna
similar
say-
to that, but I'm getting a bit of echo. Marcel, see if I'm causing an echo. Anyways,
His mic was muted, so it might be either me or James. So I'll mute and see if you still have it.
it doesn't sound like it. So, a little bit. Maybe I'm crazy. Anyways, I got a similar question for you. I like this line of thought. This would you rather? Would you rather be able to pull games off barely that you how do I want to say it? You can still win games, but it's nerve-wracking. And you no way, I'm trying to say it. All right. You always have bad dice. It's noticeable. Your dice are always below average, but you can still find a way to win games in X-Wing. Or would you always rather have good dice and be bad at X-Wing?
Oh, option 1, 100% of the time. I don't care about bad variance if I win the game.
Even if it like stresses you out during the game, even if it's
All about the
statistically
W.
anomalous,
All about the W.
it's all that's washed away if
Yep.
once the game's over.
If I get the win, it's all that matters.
Man, this is really hard for me here because I hate when anyone has a bad game of variance. Even if I win it, I don't know. I would rather it be all the dice even on the table and, me lose than me have bad dice and me still win, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that you don't have an option C. Would you rather? It's not ABC. It's A or B. Gotta choose.
I would rather have good dice and lose, because at least I don't know.
Well, he didn't say lose. He would say good dice, but be bad at playing the game.
Yeah, you'd be bad at playing the game.
Oh.
So you're just rolling 4 hits out of hand on like a ship that like hit 2 rocks
Yeah.
on the way to get to that shot.
Yeah, they're probably A then. I don't know if I could fumble my way through life like that.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right, who was next on the question roundabout? I know. Willed you had yours first, or was that Marcel first?
Marcel's up next. Marcel, hit us
Marcel's
with
up
one of
next.
these.
I keep unmuting the ninja instead.
That's where we're getting the double
Instead
echo
of Discord?
from.
Okay.
Yeah, and I keep talking to myself. Okay, I'm just gonna lower that window altogether.
Yeah, get out of there. That's where the echo was coming from. I knew it.
Yeah,
I knew it.
and I'm sitting here like my mouth is moving and nobody's like what? Words. Okay, I'm gonna go. There's a couple ones that are interesting to me. First time caller did a good one about attendance and also just growing local community. But I'm gonna go with this other one first. Earth One Gary wrote, I've seen some local tournaments have a healthy mix of lists and less of the most recent meta picks. Has the Han meta shifted to the Padme Arcs meta, and now to how he said now, but I'm thinking how to the and now to the undefined pending meta now. Okay. So basically, it's a little bit of what we talked about last week, right? It's like we've gone through the Han meta, and then Han is good, and then Vader and stuff is always good, and now you've got like Padme Arcs meta. I don't think have we shifted to the Padme Arcs meta and how to now to the undefined pending meta? I don't think we're in an undefined. I think we're narrowing down based on preference which factions you like to fly, what is good within that faction. So I don't think we're going to like this unknown meta. It's like when you like to fly rebels, this is what is genuinely good. Genuinely good means like have a high floor, hopefully higher ceiling. You're gonna get things like what Bart flew, which is a double Fang and no Han Solo rebel list, and you're gonna get these other things like, or you're gonna get what Crispy flew, with a 4-ship 2 Whisper list. Like you're gonna get these outliers, right, that are based on the player knowing how to fly that list and understanding what it wants to do, understanding what the meta is out there, and basically being very proficient and in some cases lucky at at that little nuanced thing that you're doing. But you know what? Those lists are not gonna be picked up by everyone and just overperform. I think we know what overperforms. So when I say overperform, is like if you're at 300, if you're a 500 player, you usually go 2-2 in a 4-round tournament. What's going to get you closer to a 3-1? We know that it's going to be Han, Han +3 or Han +4. Like we know what that's going to be. When you're in the Empire, you know it's going to be Vader, Tomax, and then some X1s, and we know what it's going to be. And in Republic, we know it's going to be the 3 arcs, probably Padme, and then some variation of a 4-point that you feel comfortable with. So I don't think we're going into like an unknown and undefined meta. I think that it's just getting closer to. I don't think it's ever solved because there's always going to be like little outliers, but we're getting closer to knowing what the highest floor is, and I think that's really what the meta is. The meta is not what the highest ceiling is. The highest ceiling is based on pilot skill and luck. It's a combination of luck and pilot skill. The highest floor is what I think the meta is, and I think we're getting close to the highest, figuring out what the highest floor, which means average luck, average skill, what's going to give you the most wins. I don't know, that's my take on it.
I mean, I think I would agree that it's not. I wouldn't say undefined, because I think we found plenty of very similar archetypes, especially once you start breaking down like 5x4, like lists that are 5 ships at 4 points, and like how different factions kind of play with that same build of 5 ships. We do see like many parallels in between these successful lists. What breaks the meta, or maybe like a breakout star of the meta, maybe is what I want to say, is when it's either surprising, like nobody's expecting you to fly this, and then everybody wants to like replicate that. So I've seen a lot of people trying to replicate Crispy's 4 ace FOs. Not many as successful with it. But to me though, I think we're still adding to the list of things. Like Han didn't go away because Padme exists. The arcs aren't going to go away whenever their silver bullet is figured out. Turns out it's a well-flown Han. Or better, like it's Rebels without Han, perhaps. But to me, I don't think we're going to see the meta settle, especially now. We'll see how big of a splash the Bombers and Dash make into it, but I still think that it's going to keep changing. When you put these lists up on like that pedestal, then everyone starts building hard counters for them, and now you're building counters to the counters, so it does keep evolving in that way, because we went from like all Han to mostly Padme, but then I feel like at Gen Con it was pretty mixed. Like it depended on the day, and that's like a large scale event. Like for like your local meta, like your store championship, unless like you are playing against like real hardcore net listers, it could be anything still. I've seen a lot of things at store championships that I wouldn't consider like meta do well.
Yeah, I think there's still definitely variations as an example of the quote 5 T70, but like not always 5, like 3 to 4 T70s plus 1 to 2 different things are generally decently successful. They haven't won an event outside of a store champ. They haven't made big waves, but they sure got the firepower to bring a Han down or to bring some arcs down. FO can bring some solid 5 ship groupings as well. They're very popular in Europe. The FO 5-ship FO has done quite well in Europe. Not as commonly utilized in the States or Canada, but they're still there. It can still be pretty effective, and it's it's got a lot of different variations it can create. Generally, even within just in the 2 5-point things, 2 3-point things, and a 4-point thing, there's a lot of 5s, a lot of 3s, a couple 4s. It's usually the Hughes. And then you got CIS and Scum who are just like, please, sir, can I just have a cookie?
Yeah, they wish they could have a meta list. They want to.
Yeah,
Can
I play the game now?
Yeah.
It is interesting how like the two factions that generally have been good when fire sprays are good are not doing so hot when fire sprays got hit with their loadout generally, not with their actual cost. Now you can still play some. I've seen some people do decently well with double fire spray plus dirge or thing in CIS. That's what Duncan used to get his Separatist Store Championship win. He's now got one left. He only has a Scum Store Championship victory to complete the Store Championship Infinity Gauntlet.
Wow.
Don't know what he's gonna do in Scum, but
I don't
that's his last
think he can do
one.
it.
Finn Rao, probably.
I don't think he can do it. Finn Rao is a monster. If flown correctly,
Yeah.
and rolls good greens, is a monster.
Or don't be shot.
Yeah.
Don't be
just like
shot.
that.
No, you know what? Be shot at range 1
There you go.
in arc, front arc specifically.
To follow up on that, I don't think that the meta is set whatsoever, and I think it's still evolving. And I think there's still a lot more permutations of those things that are good, including maybe there's a better Han variant that we haven't seen yet, or even a better Padme variant. I'm saying maybe it's with Luminaris thrown in there. I don't know. But I think there's definitely more stuff to explore.
All right. Well, enough of the future. Why don't we talk about the past? Kevin L is asking, historically, what has been your favorite second edition or 2.5 list to fly? I have a bunch of them, and I was going to say Krennic on Jendon mixed with Merrick and a bunch of I5s, but I don't know if that's exactly true. And now that I start to think about it, it was when me and Marcel were flying V1s. The Barons used to have 6 Barons, 2 Tracers, and Wampa. 7-ship list. Everyone was at V1 except for Wampa. And just flying those I think that's like the list that like made me realize that like, wow, if you don't have linked actions, you are just like you are not the same caliber of ship that these ships with linked actions have. And just being able to like fly them like in formation, doing like the linked maneuvers and stuff, and then being able to just like spread out and be like 6 different aces all of a sudden, being able to boost and barrel roll and be all over the place. That was when blocking really mattered. So sending like a Wamp in with a 5 forward, and then everybody focusing in on the person that's gonna get blocked by Wampa. Man, that was a little boring because I didn't have too many upgrades, but man, just what you could do with those ships was impressive to me for like nothing. Like I said, I fit 7 ships into that. I think they were all 28, which I think equaled, I would have 4 extra points or something like that. I don't know how the math worked out on it, but Marcel flew a very similar version, but dropped Wampa and just slapped Prockets on all the rest of them, which I think ended up being about the same. So I still have like a bunch of favorites, but that was like the one where I just like got addicted to it. I just couldn't stop flying it. People were, because you can joust 7 ships when they're using like tracer missiles and they're boosting at you and stuff. So it was very interesting. I would wonder how they would do in objectives these days. What about you, James? You got a favorite list?
Yeah, probably what I flew for a long time was Wolf, Baby Annie. It was Baby Annie, Padme, Lumi, and it was 5 ships, so it was 5 fours. Am I missing anybody? Padme, Wolf, Anakin, Lumi. And I think I had Click in there. So yeah, probably Click in there. So yeah, I flew that for a very long time. Still one of my favorite lists, and I'm pretty sure you can still fly it, especially with how cheap is everything is lately. But I don't think it's as good.
It's an easy one for me.
Oh, you got one?
Oh, well, Ryan first. Well, I got one, but let Ryan go first.
I think it's probably between the 5 A-Wings in its first iteration or some variation of a droid swarm, which would be either my lead up to Adepticon, which never got seen anyway. So that was the Adepticon before COVID, or when COVID hit. Or just the Seer swarm from Worlds, your Seer and 7 vultures that had discords and struts and whatnot. So I'll err on the side of the Seer swarm. That was actually one of the few lists where I took a serious amount of time in prepping movement and learning how to fly in formation. 7 ships on a not 90 degree, not 45 degree angle, but the 22.5, like in a formation. I was very, very happy with what I was able to do with that, because it mattered a lot to try and get bullseyes on stuff with Seer's crack ability. So that took a bit to know exactly which moves off, how to move them around in the correct order so they don't self bump each other.
That was before Independent, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was all net calc. Net calc, Seer, TA-175, and Discord missiles.
Pinata droid. That's right.
Yeah, kill one, calculates everywhere.
All right, Marcel, what you got? Favorite list?
You know, I honestly don't even remember when 2.0 started. No. But when did 2.0 start?
When did it start? Like the year?
After 1.0.
Yeah.
2018.
2018?
Yeah.
After 2018 Worlds.
So 2018 Worlds was still 1.0?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my favorite list in 2.0 then would be what I flew at 2019 Worlds, which is Baby Anakin, Rick Olay, and Obi-Wan. 3 ship lists, just 3 Initiative 455. Were they? Yeah, they were still 455, right? So Initiative 455. And it had every element that I like. It had the Ace element, and it had the Now You See Me, Now You Don't element. It had the Peekaboo element, but above all, it had the block element. It basically that with Baby Anakin had intimidation, and that list basically survived with Baby Annie, or not survived, thrived, because Baby Annie would intimidate, make Obi-Wan and Delta 7 be Obi-Wan, and Rick Olay's shots really matter. And then Baby Annie also had the advanced proton torpedo, so he would like single mod his advanced proton torpedo. If I remember correctly, Baby Annie had collision detector, so it was advanced proton torpedo, collision detector, intimidation, and then Rick Olay with Daredevil and advanced sensors. Good lord. And then Obi-Wan with regen, and just a bunch of dice coming at you.
Well, they all had regen.
All three of them had regen. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, all three of them had regen. So yeah, it was lovely to see people bring one of them down to 1 health and then all of a sudden be 3 health again, and then they had 0 points for the match, no half points. Thank you very much. Anyway, it was probably miserable for all the opponents, but for me, it was glorious. I loved it. I loved every second of it. That was great. It was, and the piece that I loved most was that baby Annie. Just that intimidation, being able to like, if I can guess where you're going to be, then it's bad news for you.
Yes, in big air quotes, because he has sense in the list.
Yeah, you're running sense on Obi-Wan when I flew against it.
I love it.
Yeah, let me guess where you're gonna be.
No, but a lot of the time you did have to guess.
Oh,
because
you
since
have
you
to.
can only go
Yeah.
once. Yeah.
We know.
And yeah, I mean, I know where one of your ships is gonna be, but like I said, it's smart list building. Okay, it's not my fault I came up with something.
They
that
printed
was
those
broken.
cards. They were allowed.
Yeah. Somebody printed them. I didn't print them. Yeah.
All right, James. So with that next question.
All right, let's take a look. This is a pretty spicy question. I'm not sure who this one was from. Let me see. This is that one. Yeah. If an AMG announced X-Wing is complete, as they did with Armada at the end of 2023, what would you predict that the GSP team would do as a group and or individually? I think that my heart of hearts says that GSP would continue on and help build, not help build the game, but help continue the game, and maybe even grow the game after it is complete, whether that be with additional points updates or running community events, however that looks. What about you guys?
I think the community would be very upset. The official events and like official prize support has drawn in a lot of players who might not be as excited about. I wouldn't say like homebrew, but like community events, if you will. What would GSP do? I think we would still hang out and play X-Wing, but I think we could find similar games either in Star Wars, like lore, or just ones we know. I know Aerodome's coming out. It's very similar. Not the same at all, but similar in that it's a dogfighting game. So there's
and there is some like hidden bluffing.
Sure.
The
Yeah.
same way that there is with X-Wing.
Sure. Yeah. It's got similarities enough to where it still would scratch that itch for it. But I think a lot of what draws people into X-Wing is Star Wars, those memorable characters, recreating the scenes from the movies and things like that. So it would have to be a blend of some sort of Star Wars thing. I don't know what else. I mean, I don't know if we could play Rebellion and Outer Rim enough to be as excited. But, I don't know. We'd definitely be looking more at Legion. I would be more interested in Legion if that was an incomplete game.
Really, you'd be more interested in Legion over.
I would have to buy a painted set, but
yeah, that goes without saying.
I would buy a painted set, and then we could do it
You'd
more.
be more interested in Legion over Armada or Shatterpoint?
Shatterpoint's, man, I know you like it. It's not doing it for me. It's so many. There's more things going on than models in the game, and I have to read paragraphs and paragraphs to understand what my character should be doing on my turn. And sometimes you got to read other people's cards too. Like, I don't know, it's a lot going on. More than I'm signing up for.
I don't think Legion is too far off from that, but I guess it is a lot simplistic of sit there and shoot the other guy.
Yeah, that's true. It is more of a traditional war game, which is, I guess, X-Wing is not. You're very much not your traditional war game. I mean, maybe just chess. Could we just play chess?
Just chess.
What if we just played Star Wars themed chess? There you go.
Already are.
We already are. Well, we gotta like make the little Star Wars figures. Queen Amidala, obviously the queen. C-3PO is the king, obviously, but only with like the Ewoks holding him up in his chair.
In the chair, yeah.
Yeah. We could do it. What about you, Ron? What do you think?
I mean, a lot of it would depend on how much of the community was still had a desire to play the game. I definitely think the streaming capacity would drop quite a bit, and a lot of it would be online, kind of nightly random streams only, barring crazy community put together events. There are some other games that interest me, and yeah, us as a group would probably find something else to play, whether or not it's like broadcasted in this capacity, podcast recorded, whatever it may be. But I think in most cases, a lot of the X-Wing community as a whole would have pockets that would try and keep in touch with each other. So however that may be, whether it's if you guys play this video game and find out you play the same ones, like, we can play together, or there's this other game that someone just tried out and that interests the other person, tabletop or not, card game maybe even. FFG's making the new Star Wars Unlimited card game that had a lot of presence at Gen Con. So there's that as well. Some people do enjoy card game stuff. I haven't done that in a long, long time. But it's fun. So there's plenty of other things people can do together as friends. That's pretty much the simple part of it. It's like a lot of us have developed many friendships across this game. Doesn't mean you can't still be friends playing something else.
Yeah, I mean we're gamers at heart, no matter what your background in gaming it is. So
I'm interested in Unlimited. I'd be interested to see how that comes out.
That's a collectible, or is that the card game we played, the deck builder? Is that deck builder or?
No, this one's new. It's different. This is a true TCG trading card game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, not even like the LCG one they made before. This is TCG.
Yeah. So.
Or CCG. Trading collectible. I don't know which one uses the acronym.
I guess it depends on how they do the packs, because the only problem that I have with, not the only problem, one of the problems that I have with most card games is the having a random pack to open, which is cool and fun in that moment. It's very addictive, right? But I hate going to a store and be like, hey, I want to open 2 packs and just get like all cards that I already have. Or just like bad cards. So I hope they do at least somewhat of a limited, like an LCG. I know they're not going to, but like LCG style releases where they release everything all in, whether it be like certain packs or certain boxes, and all the cards are available to everyone.
Well, I mean, like Magic at the Gathering, every time they do, I don't know that much, so don't quote me on this, but I know that every time they release a big cycle, you can buy like, not like pre-built decks, but like a majority of a deck already ready to go. But it's like the basic stuff. You have to like collect the more rare things. I think they kind of did that with like Destiny as well, that you could you could like guarantee yourself certain.
Well, they had certain cards that only came in the packs as well.
Okay.
So,
Sure.
yeah, Destiny is one of those where I feel like stuff like that where it's like randomized, you have to open packs to get the cards that you want, can be fun, especially for like draft. Like draft is so much fun. Just sitting down and opening like a ton of packs with like a group of friends, or go to a local game store and open a box and draft what you want to play that night, and then play it there. But ultimately, like the fact that we have to, like, you have to dig or buy singles for the cards that you want, it feels bad. But the Ultimate card game does look good. It looks interesting.
Let's keep it moving here. What's the next question for us? Oh, it's on to Ryan.
Is it James or you that's up?
No, didn't James just ask that last one? So I think it's on
Oh,
you.
that's right. Are we skipping Will?
I said mine.
Will already won.
We're in order. We're in order, Ryan. We got it.
And you.
All right. I'm gonna go with. Let's go with Robert Kreitler. Many of you have played in all 3 of the major editions of this game. Which one was the most challenging and why? And which one had the lowest skill floor and what made it so? So which one was basically the easiest and why was it? This is probably going to be the common answer, but I think 1.0 was the lowest skill floor. A lot of cards and interactions, as long as you got them to work, did so many things for you on a modification basis or a movement basis that made some of the things so powerful that made so many other things obsolete. And you just bringing a list could, like, you could put a list on the board and set it across from someone else, and no matter what the player's skill was, there was a good chance you could still determine who likely the winner was going to be. Now, yes, there was a certain amount of skill differential that could sway it one way or the other, but that was almost completely a card and a trigger understanding and less about the positioning of the ships. Like, a lot of people would equate to the Soontir Fell, the Arc Dodger, never getting shot, yada yada. Turns out Soontir Fell in 1.0 could stay in as many arcs as he pretty much wanted and never get hit anyway, with evade, focus, Palpatine, auto thrusters. It wasn't taking damage realistically, right? So there were some misnomers as to, like, certain stuff that took so much skill lauded around over and over, when mathematically, if you just looked at the chances of getting a certain amount of hits or taking a certain amount of damage was actually, like, made a lot of stuff kind of meaningless in how it was played. And I think what's the most challenging is what we're playing now, because it's not just dogfight. You have to take objectives into consideration, scenarios. Right now, I mean, just 2.5 in general. There's plenty of players that I think still don't completely understand the priority of what they need to do in certain states of the game. Like, they could be midway through the game. There could be a 2-point differential in the game. And the decision tree of finding out, do I do an objective action or prioritize an objective or two? Or do I not do that and prioritize giving up those points, but take a ship out? And with that broad stroke description of that, there's no answer you can draw from that, because there's still plenty of things that you'd have to consider: the health of ships, the positioning of ships, etc., what scenario it is that you're actually affecting. Like, pressing a button for scramble may be more valuable to do in a single turn, because it could stay with you for over other turns, than just sitting in a zone for assault, right? So it's not only the fact that scenarios and objectives exist, there's 4 different types. And they can change decision trees turn by turn in a game very quickly, and it could have a strong ripple effect through the rest of the game. So there's a lot more things to consider, and that's why I think 2.5 is almost easily the most challenging of all versions of the game we've played.
Yeah, I would echo that same sentiment. A lot of it as well. The biggest difference from like the ease of first edition came from we were essentially playing boats. It felt like we were playing battleships out there. Everybody was shooting 360. Everybody was putting automatic dice results down. And then now they are struggling to keep large bases in the game, and most effective ships what might have a rear arc, but most of them are still like locked front arc, only able to shoot like 90 degrees at a time, and that has been just a world of difference. Man, watching just like Dash and a Decimator just I hard 3'd, you hard 3'd, like, and we're still at range 2 of each other. It was not exciting. Of course, they were probably both engine upgrade boosting or some shenanigans like that. Right. But I think that change has made the game more difficult. Trying to actually like fly these small bases, like it would be weird to like. I'm trying to think of like Jedi in first edition. If they like couldn't equip auto thrusters or something, if they didn't have that kind of natural evasion, would they still be as good? Would the Force be have the same like power level in first edition? Because I felt like we could just get mods anywhere.
I think to a degree, I think a lot of people early on when force charges first became a thing, they're like, oh, it's like a worse expertise. No, actually, it's a better expertise because you still get it when you're stressed. You still get it when you bump. It's always there available to you. Sure, you only get X amount of, quote, charges of it, but it actually makes it pretty powerful to control how much you spend. So,
yeah, I think that's actually a great segue into my last point: resource management. Everything's about resource management right now, with less, maybe not less than less shots, but a small number of like shots you can realistically obtain in each game, and like actions that, especially now, like all these cards that are one-time use, knowing when to use them has honestly been the biggest difference between the editions. First edition was just like unlimited everything, unlimited R2D2 shields, like you said, like unlimited expertise. Like it didn't really feel like you had to manage anything. James, you didn't play a lot of first edition. You kind of came in at the real tail end of it.
I played one store event of 1.0, and I was like, this game is terrible. How are you guys playing this? This is horrible. And I was like, I'll wait for 2.0. I will wait for 2.0 to come out. And the 2.0
so
came
like,
out. And
what did you run into at that time?
Oh, I ran into all the bad stuff. I think I ran into TLTs. I ran into the harpoon missiles.
Yeah.
Harpoon missiles literally made me walk away from the table.
Yeah, they're pretty funny.
Man, you know what's funny? Because it's a front arc locked weapon and requires you to have a target lock on someone, I did not care about harpoon missiles nearly in comparison to everything else like turrets, TLTs, and unhittable stuff. The fact that you could do real damage to opponents with your front arc locked ship with that required you to have a target lock to use it, I think harpoon missiles, while felt bad to actually get hit by, it was one of the least offenders of the game because it actually progressed the game state to stuff dying.
I mean, you're not wrong, but holy moly did it feel bad when you get hit by one.
Oh, as a new player, it probably felt terrible to
Yeah.
get just outlet off the game. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah. I think I was playing. Yeah, I was playing an X-wing, like two X-wings and a Falcon or something like that. It was a known like good list that someone set me up with, and yeah, like miserable, just a miserable time. Every single one of my games, I was like, "This is horrible. How are you having fun with this?" And he was like, "No, not really." And I was like, "Why are you doing this?" So, yeah, but like when 2.0 came out, I was like head over heels, jumped in, and I think going back to the original question, I think that the game is in a much better state, and it is much more difficult. In 2.5, I'm sorry, for sure.
All right. So this is a weird question. I'm gonna be different than you guys on this one completely. I think the original question is which game was more difficult. I'm gonna say none of them. They're all equally difficult, and they just had different things that you had to account for. There was different things that, for example, 1.0, you had these unhittable ships. You had these lists that kind of, were out there just doing something that's auto, whether it's auto. Literally, there was a card called auto corrector. Like it basically stamped two hits on no matter what you roll. There's like two hit, and you can do that a bunch of times a turn, like 4 times a turn if you had like auto corrector or TLT and double shots. Like you can literally say 2, and that was your print. So that's a guaranteed 4 damage on 1 agility ship. You can't stop it. But it wasn't something that one person had available to them and the other people didn't. It's stuff that, the broken things were available for everyone to fly. And there was not, maybe it might have been not some people's cup of tea, and it might have been boring and stuff like that. And I think towards the very end, it really got out of hand. And I was happy to see 2.0 come around myself. But anyway, so that's that. The 2.0, same thing. Like it had its own challenges, and now 2.5 has its own challenges. And the evidence, like this is the evidence that I have to say that not one is harder than the other, or one was more valid than the other, is the people that do well. The Paul Heavers, the Duncan Howards. I've done pretty well myself. William, like. The people that did well in 1.0, did well in 2.0, are doing well in 2.5. And of course, some people like quit the game, or some people get more serious, some people get less serious, some people do more prep work, some people don't. So there's always going to be like ebbs and flows to the way that things go. But in general, the people that were good back then were good during 2.0 and are still pretty good now. Like, so that kind of lends me to think that as far as like which one was more difficult, I think they were all equally difficult. You just had to, William said, resource manage. You just had to manage different things. And in resource management was a bid back in 1.0. It was like a meta list that was like doing some crazy stuff. So you had to, you had to account for it some way or the other. So that was that question. So I have that as a watch. Like which one was the most difficult? I don't think that or most challenging. I don't think there's any that were more challenging. I just think they each had different challenges, and some people like some challenges and some people don't like the other challenges. So that's kind of like, like your mileage may vary depending on what you enjoy out of a game. Which had the lowest skill floor and what made it so? I think that's kind of the same thing, right? But I actually don't know. Like, I genuinely don't know which one had the lowest skill floor. I'd probably say 1.0 also probably had the lowest skill floor, because there was certain lists that you can pick up and they can like like again, you can pick up what was it, 4 or 5 TLT Y-wings like back when in the day. I forgot how many you can fit in a list. But yeah, I mean, you didn't. I mean, you just kind of like flew a circle and you rolled dice and it kind of did itself. Or you played like Loop and Chewy and decided a major event. You know, it's like so probably 1.0 was the lowest floor. Yeah, and as far as like my favorite, I don't know. I know it was in like my Aster. I think my favorite was 2.0. 2.0 because I did enjoy the place where it was at during like LVO 2022. Even though I didn't even make cut that like, but I thoroughly enjoyed where the meta was at that point. Anyway.
All right, cool. Marcel, why don't you pick up the next question then?
All right. All right, let's do Elliot Waits. What ship do we bring into standard from extended to make Scum better? God, this is actually a tough one. Tough one because I have 2. I mean, there's more than 2. Let's start off with going through the list of which lists are in extended or Scum and are not. So let me head over there. But I know we have
the aggressor, the IGs.
Okay. Oh God, I even forgot those existed. Okay, the aggressor.
The G1A with 4 LOM and all them.
Yeah, those can stay dead.
Oh, the Kyrex.
X-wings. X-wings are good. Yeah.
Lancer class pursuit crafts.
My love.
The Chemo Gila.
They can stay dead.
Oh. Space tugs.
Okay. William got something to say.
Tug it up.
You got something to say? Back it up.
So you got the Skurg bomber.
Skurg.
And then you got the Star Viper. And we're not gonna say the YT because it's already coming. Yeah. Oh God, there's so many good ships that I loved. So I'll tell you. Let's start narrowing it down. Aggressors, love aggressors. Would love to see some aggressors on there. So I'm gonna say yes on aggressors. GA1A, they're B-wings. They can stay that.
They're arcs.
They're big fat
They're
B-wings.
arcs without a rear arc.
Yeah. They can go away forever. Kirax, I think Kirax are kind of like they're that X-wing, the 3 dice without like any linked actions, and just I think that's a very solid thing that would let the. I think you can get really cheap Kirax fighters like. Some good 4-point Kirax fighters with some decent loadout that are not going to break the game.
All of them are 4 except for Talonbane.
I kind of want Kiraxes to just completely go away and replace them with like the snub fighter we saw from Mandalorian Season 3.
Sure,
Space battle.
I just think that they need a decent, affordable 3 dice, 2 agility gun at small base specifically.
Like the Razor Crest is here to replace the Chemo Gila and or G1A example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So above all these, I'm kind of stuck between the Star Viper and the Lancer Craft Pursuit. I mean, a 3 agility, 3 attack dice ship is scary, but I'm gonna go. If I had to pick one, I would go with the Lancer class Pursuit Craft. Give me a Saj.
I think the Lancer is a very good ship that could be that has the chance to get the YT-24 treatment that we're seeing right now.
Absolutely.
Where you see multiple standard loadouts, one in Scum, one in Rebel. So Rebel could have a standard loadout version of the Lancer, and then Scum could have standard loadout versions of the Lancer, and then it's mainly a Scum ship where like the custom pilots are only available to Scum, where like I believe from the pack, the YT-2400, only the custom Rebel pilots are available, and the only thing available to Scum is the standardized. If I remember
Correct. Yeah.
the back or whatever they said it would be in the contents of the YT-2400 coming out. I think the Lancer's has a very good opportunity to do that also. But yeah, I was probably the same as Marcel, either between the Lancer and the Star Viper. But I also have fond memories of the Lancer, but not Asajj, Ketsu specifically.
Well, what do you think about Asajj Lancer for CIS?
Oh.
You know what?
No.
Sure, let's go. Let's
that is
go.
That is
Give
terrifying,
me-
actually.
Not terrifying. It's fine.
Yeah, they have. It's
I
like
love
it's-
CIS to get a large base ship that isn't an infiltrator that's a little overpriced. Or
True.
maybe it isn't overpriced and everything else is
They have gauntlets. What do
underpriced.
you
I don't
mean?
know. They have what?
Gauntlets.
They have what?
Gauntlet.
Gauntlet.
You
I mean,
know,
they have pre-Vizsla.
They have Previsla.
I think they have a second pilot, maybe. I don't know. I had to give it to the Star Vipers. I think the Star Vipers would be more popular if they got put out. They look way cooler than the Kirax, but I do think that the Scum is in a desperate need for frontline jousters. They're all large base, not like necessarily large bases, but they're all like big bounty hunters, or like 3-point. I would say throwaway, but they're probably a little bit better than throwaway.
M3As and ties.
I mean, just
Fireworks,
imagine,
yeah, but yeah.
like, inject Dalen Obro Star Viper as a 4-cost standard available Star Viper. We all talk about how Scum is kind of lacking in the 4 and 3 cost department. Imagine giving them one Star Viper available at 4, and that right now would be something like Dalen Obro's.
Yeah.
Die 4.
I mean,
He's just 3 agility, 5 health, which is basically Kaz right now, right? So,
I mean,
sure, why
I
not?
want to see. I want to see that 3-point Justero. 2 points, 1 illicit slot. Your choices are dead man switch or nothing. But yeah. What about you, James?
Man, I have a fond memory of the G1A, but I know that it is an outdated and, like Ryan said, replaced by the Razor Crest. So yeah, I think for me it's between the Aggressor, the IGs, and the Star Viper, but I think the Star Viper is the correct choice here. If they were to get one ship that they could really help them out, I think it would be the Star Viper to give them that beefy, not ace, but heavy frontline fighter. And it can dodge a few shots.
And as we've seen with like all these ships that can like do side slips, weird moves are cool. Like Bendy Bear Roll is pretty cool.
Yeah, and now that Guri doesn't have advanced sensors, like I think she's fair now.
Yeah, I mean, even Guri right now is sitting at 7 points, and I look at that like that's probably too much. I haven't even looked at like extended costs that often, but
She gets
seeing
prime
Guri at 7 and
thrusters, I
comparing
think.
it to all of their 7s in
Yeah.
the game right now, I just go that probably should be 6 and just lower some loadout, I guess.
Yeah, she does get quite a bit of things. Like she gets primed, shield upgrade, and then you still have 6 points left.
And Virago.
Virago. Yeah.
So she's like
So
boasting close to
yeah,
7 health, almost 8 health.
Yeah. Yes, at 7 health. Yeah.
Just shield upgrade, afterburners, and then 4 points. That sounds
you
fun.
need prime dirt pattern though, something.
You do. Yeah,
Do
you
you-
do.
do you?
need that. Yes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Maybe. It'd be helpful. Though, talking about CIS Lancer, if they did reprint the quad jumper, they could make it for resistance, Ryan.
Oh, there you go. They need another really bad ship.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would like the jump master, the quad jumpers to not come back.
Oh.
They're on
Yeah.
my no thank you list.
Oh.
What about you, Will? What is something that you don't want to see, 100% don't want to see, and what's something you do want to see?
Oh, I said the Star Viper for sure.
Star Viper. Okay.
Especially if they could get the butterfly effect, they could sell 1,000,000,000 copies.
If they reprint the ship as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if they like resculpt the ship, make it actually flat, that would be a sight to behold. The one I don't want to see, I guess it's the G1. Forlam is Forlam in second edition. That's who hands out stress, right?
Yeah.
No, banned. No, thank you. Don't come back. Don't come back. You're good.
Forlom was so fun.
No. Turns
You know
out he
what's crazy
wasn't.
with Guri? Like, sorry, tangent back to Guri.
No, you're
She
fine.
can take burnout thrusters and pattern analyzer.
So
So she could do a 3-speed and then slam to a 3 sloop, still do another action with pattern analyzer, and if she's also landed at range 1, she gets a focus and just gets a deplete for doing all that.
I can't even
still
track
wants to shoot?
three bank the other way and then a barrel roll. I don't even know. I don't even know what. Yeah. What? Where are you? Where did you go, Gary?
I am anywhere.
Jeez.
The only sad part is they don't have 3 turns, but that's pretty cool, right? Like 3 straight or 3 bank into a 3 sloop, pattern analyzer, and then plus if you're range 1, just get a focus for Guri. That sounds awesome.
Is that worth a once a game ability?
Yeah.
Is
right.
Black 1 on Poe worth it? Yes.
Yeah.
I'd argue
you
Burnout
could-
Thrusters is a very important upgrade on Fenrau and Scum right now if it weren't for Scum just being neglected in general.
Facts about that.
I don't know if Quad Jumper is my most like please don't ever come back ship. It's probably it is probably that. It's not even a star fighter really.
What's your beef with the quad jumper?
It's not a fighting ship. It's a tugboat. That's it.
Hey man, it takes a bit. What if
Hand it out
when they moved
table.
you weren't tractored anymore? Would that help you?
Oh, I
came
don't
up-
care about the mechanics. I just
You just hate
You-
the
oh,
concept
you-
design.
it's like just the concept of that ship. Just no, we'll find other ships that actually fight and shoot lasers.
Okay. All right.
Like that. I get it. During that time, they were like, oh, it's a ship that we saw. It was in the movie. We
was
should
in the
put it in
movie.
the game. Sure.
It's unique.
But it also only did one thing in the movie, which was blow up, so they could be like, "Oh, look, it's the Falcon over there."
Yeah.
Take that instead. Which
I swear
probably
in
the right
the
choice.
I swear it came back in a comic book or the Resistance
It was
TV
in
show or
it was in
something.
Andor too.
Was it in Andor? That's why I didn't see it.
Yeah, that was when they were escaping the prison.
Well,
And that was the ship they
spoilers
found with
for
that
the ship
Fisher.
Wait,
Oh my god.
you still haven't finished Andor?
I'm working on it. All right.
Oh my gosh! You realize
Wait a
what comes out
minute.
tomorrow, right?
I want to watch it, but
It sounds like you don't.
I'll
Want
put
to
it. I'll
watch
put it to the front of my queue.
Now you're gonna put Ahsoka to the front of your queue, coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow night, 9
Yeah.
p.m. Eastern time,
That's
6
right.
p.m. Pacific time, and everywhere in between and around.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a double feature. So episode 1 and episode 2 tomorrow.
All right. Well,
I mean, I will. Will we be talking about it on Wednesday? Will?
I'm sure we'll have an after thing. Apparently, I'm playing a game Wednesday, so we'll have to figure that out. The logistics of that, James.
Okay.
But anyways, let's keep going with questions. Marcel, you just picked that one about the standard to extended. So let's see. That's on to
Did I?
me. You did, because then James told you all the ones that are available. I feel
Okay.
like we're getting a lot of scum questions. Let me see here.
Call them out. Who's the dumb one? All right.
No one's dumb. All right, you know what? I do like this one though. Dark Lightning says, "Do you think Scum will ever get a scenario pack like Battle of Yavin or Siege of Coruscant?" I have two ideas when it comes to this. One is a like bounty hunter free for all, and we get standard loadouts of Dengar, Bosk. We get a standard loadout G1A of Zuckuss and Forlom together, right? Like that would be the scenario that you play bounty hunter wars or something. The other one I have.
think it'd be the hunt for Han Solo.
You could do Hans. Oh, sure. Would you do? How would you do teams, though? How do you draw the line in the sand?
I don't think you do teams there. I think you just
It's like a free
pick
for all.
couple. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, like I said, that's I think a great idea.
Hunt for Han Solo.
The other one that that I know involves like two X-wing factions comes from the Star Wars Galaxy video game called Assault on Tansari Point. If you know the generics of the Tansari Point Defenders, or what are they called? What are the I3 M3As actually called? Aren't they the Tansari Point Defenders? Am I crazy?
They're generic. They don't matter.
Tansari Point Veteran. Well, their name matters. Tansari Point's a like relay station for the cartel, and the Black Sun comes in to come mess with it, and then to defend the station. That's where Sarasu. Actually, I think that's originally where the M38 comes from. Is that video game, because it's like the Scum equivalent to a TIE fighter. In that regards, so at least that would be like Z95s and like Y-wings facing off against M3As, and I don't even know what else it would be, but at least it would be like two different in-Scum factions.
It's hard to do Scum scenario packs just because we don't have a ton of reference points for it, right?
Yeah, there's not like an in-movie other than maybe the Han Solo movie Escape, but there was really that's like Scum vs. Empire though. I don't really have another movie reference for it, and all of the Scum ones are ones I would consider like Scum are just like one-on-one. Like Boba chasing Han.
Yeah, I feel like the best movie or show chance of it is going to be Mandalorian related, the Mandalorian TV show, and maybe the Mandalorians themselves. Something like the eventual movie that they want to make to kind of culminate all the Mandoverse stuff into a finalized movie. That's in the next 3 years, I think. Also, they could go a little bit of Mandalorian based, but also a little bit of like Scum and Republic by doing the Siege of Mandalore, where you have Bo-Katan and some of the other Mandalorian fighters going up against Maul and some little bit of Shadow Collective and the what's his face? It was the Mandalorian that was kind of leading
Gar Saxon.
Gar Saxon. Yes, thank you. So there could be a little bit of that. I mean, not a lot of it was ship combat though. It was a majority of just kind of descending upon and sieging the ground more so. So we might have to see what's in the upcoming movie for the Mandoverse culmination. That might be the source of it.
I mean, another one that I can maybe think of would be the Resistance show with a different speeder, and when the pirates attack their base. But that one's kind of Resistance versus Scum. And really, it's just the fireball that's in that fight.
True. It could be a way to get some like pilot, some like, what do I say, well-known Scum people who are not pilots, like Garrido doesn't fly a ship right now. There's, I'm sure, some other ones, but maybe not. Well, what do you think? Any other burning questions in here? I think we actually kind of covered some of the Resistance one already when Ryan was talking about meta. Actually, I do want. There is one question I had. Do you have one, Marcel? One last question.
No, I was saying that there was a lot of good ones. I think a lot of them were kind of overlapped. Like there was some about the Republic, there was some about Scum specifically, and then there was, so there was a little bit. Through answering some, we kind of touched on, maybe not answered, but kind of touched on the other ones. But you said you had one, so go for it.
This is from, well, actually I had two, I guess. First off, Noah. Sunny Bounder is once per modification step. You can't use the same trigger twice. So you can't add and then reroll and add again. Not allowed. But the actual question, which from Quigs, is asking about Empire and Rebels. I'll just read what they wrote here. I'll quote them. Why do Empire and Rebels get a discount on Force users, but Republic pays a penalty? Example, Barris, too good at 3 points. Keo, just fine at 3. Force crew, too good in Republic. Their price went up, and their carriers who have access to it, their loadout went down. But the child is fine at 7 in the original trilogy. Same thing at Delta 7, loses their munitions, but Luke is fine with proton torpedoes at 5 points. Now, I'm not sure if those are exactly equal, but what do you guys have thoughts on that? Is Republic punished for their force?
I don't think they're punished for their force. I mean, you see, look at Anakin, 3 force and 4 points, initiative 6. I mean, that is pretty healthy. Same thing with Obi-Wan, 4 points. It's a 4-point ship with 3 force, and I don't think that they're punished. I just think that they have different strengths. I mean, the Republic is doing really well. It's hard to say that the Republic is being punished for anything when the Republic is probably one of the top 2 factions as far as performance, and not just performance, but performance and how often they show up. I myself am flying Delta 7B. Anakin, 7 points, and it's like, well, that's 7 points. That's that's kind of taxed, right? But I mean, I'm paying 7 points because I feel he's worth 7 points. I mean, it's just like the people that fly Silencer Kylo. I mean, Silencer Kylo is 7 points. He's got 2 force. But he's got an insane ability. He can get instinctive aim, advanced optics, and proton torpedo. I mean, he can really create some type of, and he can do that on a reposition, like focus reposition. Throw off an instinctive aim, advanced optics, have a force left over. So I mean, it's just some insane damage that he can put out. So, and he brought up Barris. Actually, I think Barris suffers from being in a faction where there is just so much goodness at 4 points that nobody wants to take him. Because even the 7B version of Barris, I mean, what's the 7B version? I think it's like 5 points. Is he 5?
She's 5, yeah.
Yeah, like you take Barris at 5 points and you throw him into a first order list. You take Crispy's list and you replace one of them with Barris. A force user with 2 agility, 3 health, 3 shields, a force, double reposition, and can still action after the. I mean, it's just some. Well, actually, he can't. But anyway, long story short.
Barris.
Okay. I don't discriminate. So I don't see it. I just think that I don't think that they get punished for having force. I think that they just have so many options that the force carriers get overlooked because of how many other better options there are. But if you take those same force carriers and put them into a resistance list, or into a like separatist list or any other list, like you might be able to find a place for them. No, what do you guys think?
I mean, I don't think Republic is being punished by any means or paying more for their force charges in comparison to Empire or Rebels. I mean, the chassis that the force users are on for Republic, being the Aether sprites, one of the best maneuvering chassis in the game. So we have to take that into consideration when you compare it to just a T-65 X-Wing that Luke has that has nowhere near the maneuvering capability. And compare it to the X1 that Vader has, which is close when you take starter Vader and have multiple actions, and you have to take afterburners to get it somewhere near that, but you get that twice a game. So I think the chassis is a big difference. You're also looking at, if you're comparing other force using chassis in Republic, you got the Adas. I think the Adas currently are better costed and probably better positioned than the Inquisitors and the V1s for Empire right now. At least we're seeing more use out of the Adas, especially SOC Anakin. All of the V1s that are 4 cost are only I4 or lower. Grand Inquisitor is the only one higher at I5, and he's 5 points. I don't think there's an 8 I would take at 5 points right now anyway, so 4 is kind of where that's at. When it comes to the Keo comparison, I mean, Keo is probably one of the best like 3-pointers in the game flat out, comparing it to any other 3-pointers in any other faction. And part of it is because she does have a force charge. She does have a good chassis with the A-Wing. She does have the side slipping that is a vital usage to her kit, and she could take reasonable upgrades, juke, rockets, concussion missiles in either Predator or Lone Wolf, etc. So there's a variety of her usage. I don't know if comparing her directly to Barris makes a ton of sense, because we did see when Barris was at 3 points, granted when she had access to instinctive aim concussion missiles, that
Brian,
she was at that time
Brian,
the best 3-pointer in the game.
You corrected Marcel. I gotta correct you. Keo is a they, if you could.
Oh, you're all right. Keo is they. My bad. I do commonly mess that one up. That's I'm used to saying
it's no worries.
G, but I know Keo in Squadrons is a they. Yep, you're right.
Anyways, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you good. Yeah, no, it's good to remember that. I try and remember that, but I always mess that one up. So yeah, I think because then when Barris was 3, she was like the best 3-pointer in the game. If Barris was 3 right now and just didn't have a missile, would it be a closer comparison point? Maybe. But I think when you're trying to compare the best 3-pointer in the game to anything else, you're gonna say that why is other ship not as good as Kyo? So I don't know if you can really make a ton of comparisons other than just note that Kyo is considered to be one of the best three costs in the game.
Yeah, I mean, when Contra was 2 points, why were all these Thai FO fighters not 2 points, right?
No, Revis was 2 points. But that was Revis and not Contra.
I mean, yeah, that is Revis, not Contra.
No, yeah, Contrail. When 2.5 started, it was literally Barris and Contrail were the first 5 points you took in a Republic list because you had 15 more points to play with and you got 2 very efficient ships.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts on that like Kyo and Luke are great examples of the Force, but they fly very specifically. Like Luke cannot be doing what Aether Sprites can be doing, and Kyo doesn't. I think Kyo's like floor, like you could fly Kyo poorly, right? Whereas there's kind of that built-in buffer maybe with the Republic, where because you're always getting force back, because you always have that open dial, you're never like stressing yourself to do the linked actions and stuff. So you do have to pay like price for that ease of use. And I think we can all agree that like the Aether Sprite's one of the best chassis in the game. It always has been. It's weird that we don't see it as much, that we're only seeing it as like Anakin, the occasional Mace or Lumi out there. Or no, I guess Mace is doing 7B. So yeah, that honestly, it's like, it's something that I look at too. I was like, man, it's like clone season up in here for the Republic. It used to be like, how many Jedi can I fit into my Republic list? And now it's what kind of clones am I looking for? So it's just kind of like the ebb and flow of the seasons. I don't think they should be allowed a missile. Definitely not instinctive aim missiles. That was what pushed it over the edge, in my opinion.
Yeah, spoilers. As long as that force charge was available, it was basically a 3-die attack ship. Especially when it had CLT at the same time, who, when Barris got to range 1, was a very effective range 1 shot, even though it started out with 2 dice and 3 at range 1, but you getting to add the eyeball was a big help to make it feel like a 4 dice attack at the same time.
Mm-hmm. True. I will say that I don't think people are experimenting enough with the Force crew. Everyone's been so obsessed with the pre-builds that we're not seeing those Ayla Secura, or was Ayala? Which one's the coordinate crew?
It's Ayla Secura.
Yeah, Ayla.
Yeah, where are those Ayla Secura Bo-Katans out there?
What are you gonna? You're gonna bring on a gauntlet.
I'm gonna put it on a gauntlet, and we're gonna coordinate. And because it's Bo-Katan, I'm gonna hand out target locks too. How would you like 2 actions? No, not enough. Well,
No, I can get an arc and a half for that.
you get an arc and a slider for that. Oddball and slider or a gauntlet? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. That is fair. Yeah. I'll be born for this is a bit silly. Imagine if every rebel was a Hera. Be pretty cool. Well, I think that is about it for the podcast. Did we miss anything? One last chance here before we wrap it up.
Just one from Psych J7, and then, but it is a really quick one. I'm going to skip the first half of his question and just go to the second half, which is there a upgrade in standard loadout that is worth printing as a custom card?
As in, like, its own upgrade that you can put on anything.
Yeah, as you assign it a point, and then you say this is now you can put it on a.
Keep those upgrades spicy for that standard loadout. That's my opinion.
I'll say, I mean, his example that he put in parentheses after saying that, just to clarify what he said, Seeker missiles from the Dash YT pack, I think that'd be fine. I don't know how much they want to cost it. It's probably like a 6+ ish missile because it's a very efficient shot, albeit most efficient. There's a chance you only shoot it once at its high efficient version, which is probably enough to consider it. But I like erring on the side of these cards should stay on their SLs.
I have one that I think actually could help out the game. What's the worst action? What? Yeah, no. I asked you this already, James, but let me ask my other two friends here. What's the worst action in the game?
What do you mean by worst?
Worst one. I told you had to take the worst action in the game. What action are you taking?
Does it matter the color?
We'll assume it's red to be extra bad.
Wait, the worst action that you're taking yourself, or the worst action that you have to that somebody is taking on you?
If you had every action on your action bar, the one that you would never use.
If I had every action on my action bar, the one that I would never use. So let's see, I would barrel roll, I would boost, I would target lock, I would coordinate, I would jam, I would tractor.
A red
I wish there was a tractor.
Red calculate. That's mine. Worst one.
No, it's even worse than that.
Even worse.
Okay, red calculate.
It's
red.
so bad you guys can't even think about it. That's how bad it is.
Not reinforced, not alright, go for
You're
it.
so close,
Nutano got it.
It's reload. The worst action in the game right now. Hands down, awful. So awful you guys couldn't even consider it as an action. But the main, not only are most reloads red, but it gives you the weapons disabled. You're literally, for most people, you're trying to reload a missile to shoot it again. Unless you're like turning away, dropping bombs. So, Tomex Bren in their new standard loadout has true grit. At the end of the activation phase, if you are not strained, you may gain 1 strain token to remove 1 red non-lock or orange token. So trade your weapons disabled in for a strain. That would be amazing. People might actually reload at some point.
I don't want people to reload though.
I'm not saying.
I'm just saying, like, I would rather people not. I would rather get rid of the action reload altogether than make it easier and more, more favorable for people to I don't want people to reload.
Why not?
That.
Why?
Because if you're doing a reload and you're saying I'm going to go through the trouble of not shooting, wasting an action, not having any offensive or defensive modifiers, it probably means you're
But this would
benefiting
allow you to shoot.
something.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, exactly, because reload is so good that it allows you to. The benefit is so great that when you do it, you're saying, "I'm not gonna shoot and I'm not gonna modify my defense," because the benefit of having this additional ordnance bomb, whatever, outweighs the penalty. I don't like. I don't want nobody getting. I don't want anybody getting a third proton torpedo,
Sure.
a second advanced proton torpedo.
Okay.
No, you shot me twice with that thing. I don't want you to shoot me a third time. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
So it goes back to that resource management we talked about in second edition. I can see it.
You know what? I'm more in favor of somebody like of there being an element in the game scenario maybe or something like that adds a reload station because
Well,
that makes more sense than
What do you think about Cutthroat?
Cutthroat. I mean, again, I just don't think that is an action. You should.
Okay.
I don't think that you should get it just because, like, oh, I want another torpedo, so I'm just going to take a strain. Like, no, I hate it. I hate it. You know, you're not.
All right,
You're not out
touchy
there
subject.
refueling yourself. Yeah. Like,
Fair enough. No, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Oh, yeah, it would be really nice on energy shells. The thing that can do that no other weapon can do, but nobody uses it.
No, thank you.
All right, interesting stuff. Nothing else for Ryan or James? We're gonna head on out of here.
All good here.
Just mention what Dion said about the event. That if people go into the pastimes store championship, Dash will be legal as long as it's released on or before Thursday.
Good to know. Do we have an
Or the bombers
day?
too, right? Like both?
Well, anything that is
Right.
where the points are out and there's an
Yeah.
official release
Yeah.
by Thursday, then it's valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have it in your hand, doesn't mean much if we don't have points for it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And most of the time, AMG is smart enough not to release like Friday afternoon, throw the points out. Everybody go home for the weekend.
They did do that. So
Well,
but
maybe
I had
they
a great
learned.
time at that store event that they did that. They were like, "Yeah, let's do it, whatever." and we used the new points, and it was a ton of fun.
That
it
is
was
exciting
wild.
stuff. Yeah,
You know,
we don't. It looks like we don't expect the bombers until the 25th, which is like Thursday, Friday or so. So maybe we'll get some Thursday points. Wouldn't that be exciting?
This Thursday?
Yeah.
That would be
Unless
exciting.
they moved it back. That's the last word on the street. Well, that word was a month ago, but that was the word on the street.
That is the most recent word on the street.
Sure is. Yep, so exciting times. That's a great point, though, James. We are going to be streaming live this weekend. Nick Sperry, and I forget if he's got a co-host. I don't know if it's Johnny or Andrew, but somebody's going to be there streaming our store championship. I'm playing. I bought my ticket. Marcel, you win? You playing at Pastimes?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Where are we going afterwards? Where's the Giordano's nearby? It's in a mall. What's close to the mall?
I mean, the mall is more like it's dead. I mean, no other way to say it. It's
I
not
understand.
necessarily a mall. But it's by Rosemont, so being by Rosemont, everything is there. Because Rosemont is by O'Hare, and everything is by O'Hare. So basically, there's going to be no shortage of places to go.
No.
Actually, that was one of Carrie's questions. Is like, where's good to eat around
Oh
pastimes?
no, I was kind of segueing that question. Where should we go eat?
Everywhere. I don't think we want to. We want to give away our location. You know, all the fans. You know, will.
I know what. Our bodyguards won't be able to hold them back, I'm sure.
Yeah, but no, seriously, like there's a little bit of everything. So depends on what you guys like. There will be food.
Mood for pizza, but you know, when in Rome, we'll have to find out.
Yeah, when in Rome, you eat pizza. Wait, is that it? No. When in Rome, you eat. When in Rome.
I think it's you let them eat their cake. I think is what the end of that saying is.
I don't know.
When in Rome, eat cake.
Eat cheeseburgers, yeah.
There you go. All right. For everybody, thank you so much for watching, for joining us. Check out the Patreon. Join the Discord. Watch the Twitch on Saturday for the Store Championship. And, of course, Mondays for the podcast. Until then, Gold Squadron out.